Hey, greetings English 102 students. So today's recap video, we're going to talk a little bit about, um, you know, basically how do we survive college and writing courses. So as we talked about in class today, college is stressful. You guys, you're taking a good number of classes. Seems like almost everyone has a job outside of class. I'm sure you guys have family responsibilities. You have life to deal with. And so this is one of the reasons why the core lesson for today is you want to get to know your classmates. Not just because, like keeping up a track of homework or anything like that. It's also to see that as a student, you are not the only one going through all these different things. It's really important to bear in mind that none of us are alone in the stress, even though it can feel that way oftentimes. And so what I'll have you guys do fairly often is split up into the small groups, talk with each other about how the semester's going, how your weekends have been, just to kind of get a sense of, who your classmates are. And I also want you to get to know everyone in the class. And so that's why the groups are going to be randomized fairly often, to make sure that, you guys know who you're taking your class with, who you're working with. Now, a big part of why this is important for a writing class is that successful workshops are built on trust. And one of the things that I find is very important to remember is that, as I said, all of us are students of writing, myself included. You may be you may all be at different stages of what you're learning about writing and what you're trying to accomplish with your writing. But the fact is that whatever stage you're at, whether you're an English 102 student or whether you're a PhD who's teaching the class, there is always something about writing for you to learn. And one of the things that's important to bear in mind here is that the more that you help others with their writing, the more you will learn about writing itself as a field, as a process. And so that is one of the reasons why later in the semester we'll be doing these writing workshops. And the way workshops work is, each student will bring in something they've written, and then you as their classmates will be offering your thoughts, your feedback, your recommendations. And this is not to say that the writer is obligated to follow every recommendation. It's just that your feedback will give them ideas that they can use to write the paper they want to write. And that process of giving that feedback will help you get a better sense of what types of things you want to do in your own writing, how you want to kind of do editing and revision to get your vision on the page. Now, with that, something that's important to bear in mind is that I've noticed over the years that most individuals are much better at communication through speaking rather than writing, which when you think about it makes a lot of sense. We grow up, we learn to talk around age 2 or so. By 3 or 4 or 5 years old, we're quite good at being able to communicate and letting people know what we want. And then around 4 or 5, you start learning what letters are. None of us really begin communicating with the written word until, maybe first, second, third grade, maybe. My first real essays were, I think 5th grade. And so one of the big reasons why trust is so important in the classroom and why this communication through conversation is so important is because I want you guys to get to know each other as individuals so that you get a sense of what each of your classmates wants to communicate. So that when you read what they've written, you can compare the words they're writing with the words they're saying. And so this way, you guys can get better at seeing how to, take all the thoughts that are in here and convey them through the written word for your audiences so that you can have successful essays, successful papers, better emails, better texts. You know, you'd be surprised at how much can change with a single email. Okay. And so with that, you know, the big thing to remember is that we are all in this together as writers. You know, the more that you guys work together, the better all of us become as writers. And so with that, just to wrap up, you've got the Martin Luther King assignment. That discussion is due, I believe, tonight. But if you need through tomorrow, that's fine as well. And then the Article 1 assignment, that's due Thursday night. But as I mentioned before, if you need an extension, you know, just send me a quick email. It's an automatic 24-hour extension until Friday night at midnight. If you'd like more time than that, just request more time. I'm generally, you know, I generally accept all extension requests. So if you need time through the weekend, that's not a problem. So with that, if you have any questions at all, please text or email. As I mentioned before, if you have a quick question about the assignment, you know, a text is generally better because I'll see that right away and I can get back to you right away. If you have a longer email about the course in general or something you don't need an immediate reply on, email is generally better. So with that, have a good rest of the day, and I will see you guys on Thursday.